Hello, and welcome to the Cisco Software Manager video series. My name is Sherry Jerzak. I am an engineer on the CSM Server development team, and today I will be showing you the first steps you will take after installing CSM Server. If you haven't already, check out our introduction video for an overview of CSM Server and its core features. Today's video will include creating server repositories, regions, jump servers, and managed hosts, and a quick overview of the host dashboard and the main menu bar with a brief explanation of the functions found there. So let's get started. After logging in with the username and password that you defined during installation, you will land on the home page. Here you will find information about your CSM server, summaries of your created regions and managed hosts, and tables containing information on your managed hosts, jump servers, regions, and server repositories. You will notice you can search through your host list, filter your hosts by region, or perform a batch installation. Managed hosts on CSM Server are assigned to regions or user-defined groupings. Install tasks can be scheduled on an individual host or hosts that belong to the same logical group. Regions are mapped to multiple server repositories. Server repositories are remote servers that are reachable by CSM Server and managed hosts, and will store downloaded software to be installed on the managed hosts. All hosts from the same region share the same set of server repositories. To create a server repository, click on the Create drop-down menu to the right of the tabs and select Server Repository. There are 4 types of server repositories currently supported on CSM Server: TFTP, FTP, SFTP, and local, and each type has its own set of requirements. CSM Server aims to allow users to view and browse directories and files on various server repositories from the UI, so users can choose software packages to install on their hosts. Because the TFTP protocol does not support listing remote files, CSM Server must be able to access the TFTP file directory locally. To do this, your admin may have to first mount the remote TFTP directory onto the machine where CSM Server is installed. To configure a TFTP server repository, users need to enter the TFTP server path into the TFTP server path box, and the TFTP directory local to the CSM Server in the file directory box. You can then check CSM Server's reachability to the TFTP server and click Save. FTP and SFTP servers require server paths, which are the IP address or host name of the server, and a home directory, which is the default login directory for the server. Unlike TFTP servers, FTP and SFTP servers provide directory listings, and therefore you will not need to mount the remote file systems onto CSM Server. Lastly, CSM Server supports local server types. A local server type indicates that the software packages have already been copied onto a device. The device will use the device path information to activate the software packages. CSM Server has no visibility on local servers. When scheduling an install, the software packages will need to be manually entered, as file browsing is not supported. Now that we have one or more server repositories set up, we can create regions. Regions can be mapped to multiple server repositories, and server repositories can belong to multiple regions at once. All devices in a region share the same set of server repositories. When scheduling an install on a device, CSM Server will allow users to select files only from the servers belonging to the same region as the device. If no server repository is assigned to a region, all server repositories will be available to that region. To create a region, select Create Region. Name the region you are creating and add 0 or more server repositories to that region. Server repositories can be shared among many regions, but managed hosts can only belong to a single region. A jump server is the server that CSM logs into in order to connect to the managed hosts. Many service provider environments place their devices behind a jump server. CSM first logs into the jump server, then to the router. If you want CSM Server to use a jump server to connect to your managed hosts, you will need to create a jump server entity now. To do so, click Create Jump Server and fill out the name, connection type, IP or host name, port number if applicable, and the username and password. Now that you have server repositories and regions, you are ready to create your managed hosts. Click Create, Host, and fill out the necessary form data. The location and roles fields are entirely optional. To create a host with more than one role, simply use commas to separate each role. Roles can be used later for easier filtering of devices when viewing information or performing a batch install, for example. Location is intended for users to track the physical location of a device if desired. If a host has active and standby connections, simply define multiple IPs or ports by using a comma to separate the values. CSM can connect to either connection. You can check the reachability of your device to make sure CSM Server is able to connect and click Save to finish. Once the host is saved, CSM will perform automatic device discovery to identify the device chassis type and retrieve its hardware and software inventory. Many managed hosts can also be added at once by importing them from CSV. Go to Tools, Import Hosts, select the region to which to add the hosts, and paste or type text into the text box. Each line should contain one host, with the first line, the header line, denoting the order of the values. Role and port are optional and do not need to be filled out for every host, or can be left out of the header entirely if no hosts will use them. In the example on the page, the first value on each line is the host name, the second value is the region, etc. Notice that my host 1 has an empty value for role and for port, and my host 2 has 2 values for port, which are comma delimited within the quotation marks. To delete managed hosts, go to Tools, List Hosts. On the far right of the table, there is a delete link for each host. Now that you have managed hosts added to CSM Server, you can view the host dashboard. To view the host dashboard, click on the linked host name of the managed host you want, or search for a specific host in the Search a Host field in the main menu bar. From the host dashboard, you can view the elapsed time since CSM Server last successfully retrieved inventory information, general information about your host, the active, active committed, inactive, and inactive committed packages on the host when applicable, scheduled and failed installation history, and retrieval history, which shows information pertaining to CSM Server's successful and failed attempts to retrieve inventory data on the host. Notice that if a host does not have any inactive committed packages, for example, the inactive committed table will not appear on the host dashboard. You can also schedule and install, delete install history data, trigger the retrieval of inventory data, or edit your host using the Action button. The main menu bar allows you to navigate the different functions and pages provided by CSM Server, including the Home page, the CCO Software page, the Install and CCO Download dashboards, the Conformance page, Search for a host, Tools, and Help. From the CCO dropdown, you can select the various supported platforms and their available releases. By choosing a release, you can view the SMUs, service packs, and release software for that platform and release. From here, you can view SMU details, DDTS details, whether the software has already been downloaded and is available on your internal CSM repository, and select files for download. Software that has become available in the last 7 days will appear highlighted. From the Dashboards dropdown, you can navigate to either the Install dashboard or the CCO Download dashboard. The Install dashboard shows information relevant to all installs performed by CSM Server, including ones that are scheduled, in progress, or have failed or completed. When an install job completes or fails, you can access the logs from this page or resubmit a failed job. The Download dashboard displays all scheduled, in progress, failed, and completed download jobs. Here, you can also view downloaded software that are available in the internal CSM data directory. When CSM Server performs a download, it first downloads the file to the internal repository, then copies it to the designated external server repository. This internal repository is not the same as the server repositories we created earlier. On the Conformance page, you can create software profiles with a list of file names. When you run a conformance report, CSM Server will compare the files on the managed host to the list in the software profile and report any differences. The Conformance page can also be used to bring non-conforming devices into conformance, which will be shown in greater detail in a future video. From the Tools menu, you can access many of the tools and settings available on CSM Server, including User Preferences and Admin Console. Some functions will be available only to those with admin access, and many will be explained in further detail in future videos. Perhaps the most important item on the main menu bar is the Help menu. Here you will find PDF documents that cover the various features of CSM Server and how to use them, including those discussed in this video. For further explanations of these features and how to implement them, the Help menu is a good place to start. That concludes this Getting Started video. Once again, check out our introduction video if you haven't already, and look out for our other videos in this series, coming soon. For questions or comments, send us a message on our support mailer at cs-software-manager@cisco.com. Hope to see you in the next video.